We are live on YouTube on my YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel is Kaye Giles. One moment, let me wipe off my camera for my Facebook viewers. I apologize. You know, when you use your phone and you have on makeup at times, it gets on there, so it was cloudy. So I hope that's better. And about coming back to you, coming out of hiatus. Um, in the months that I was off, which were June and July, I have to tell you guys, I feel like I should have just stuck with the assignment. I felt like I shouldn't have taken any time off because I began to develop what I call, and I have to look at the two cameras, guys. I began to develop what I call a toxic relationship with, and you know, you have to definitely, some things are on my desk. You have to definitely get that in order before you can move forward in anything. God gives us destiny, and in our destiny, we have to do what is assigned of us. We have to move forward in our destinies, and we have to not delay the project. And the project sometimes is not necessarily a project, but what it is a situation that we're in, or it's the process of our lives. And so on today, we're going to talk about the toxic relationships that we have with ourselves and how we can heal. And I have to say we because on yesterday, you know, I had a tough conversation. I really didn't like the conversation, and wherein I had to address some things. It made it very uncomfortable. And so then I realized that what I'm doing is I'm definitely hindering me. And yesterday I felt like God was taunting me, even though that's something that he does not do. It seems like every post I read, everything I read, anything that came up, it said to me, don't delay the assignment. It said, you're your own hindrance. The reason that you're not further along is because of you. Let's deal with procrastination in you, Kay. These are the things that you need to do while you are wonderful, while when you're doing a job, you're excellent, and while when you're helping others, you can take them to the next level. And I'm sorry, my daughter's feeding our cats. And so I had to deal with the fact of asking God, you know, why is this not done? What is keeping things from going further? You know, is it something that was done in my past? Because as you guys know, as you reap, when you reap what you sow. And so, Tiff, whether you know it or not, we can see you very well. My daughter doesn't like to be on camera, so I had to let her know. And so I'm going to get into my notes. I'm going to open them up because I really want to definitely do this on this morning, and I want you guys to. So once again, I'm going to let you know who I am. My name is Kaye Giles. I am the creator and founder of God's Morning Devotional, video devotional blog. And I also have a blog, and it's on Blogspot, and it's called Kaye Giles. And so you guys can definitely go read the blog post from today, because it's going to be a blog post I prepared. One thing I know about God, you have to prepare. And I've been teaching through Courageous Faith, Let's Talk Business over the past years about being prepared and definitely knowing what you want to do and then getting it done by setting goals. And so I also talk to you guys about couch time. And so let's get to it on this morning. So I want to talk about people in the Bible who had bad relationships. I don't think that we realize that they're in the Word of God and that, you know, we can learn from them. And so I'm going to like move through my notes a little bit. Now, if you guys understand one thing, we did a series on the Ten Commandments. We did a series on that on my radio show on Sundays on Sador Radio. And we did it, and we talked about gossip, backbiting, and being very catty and things like that. And so we talked about that and how that was toxic and how that brought about toxic relationships and toxic behaviors. And so today, what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about was messy relationships. And messy relationships can definitely be handled by you. Like a messy relationship can be the one that you have with yourself, the one that you have in your relationship with God. Because like I put in a post earlier this week as I was building the momentum for the show, sometimes we as individuals, we take the time to tell God, you know, God, I know that you're going to make a way. God, I know that you are able. God, you are everything that I want you to be. But yet and still, we are the type of people who are still doubting in the back of our mind that God is going to do it. And so I sat down and I wrote down my goals that I wanted to accomplish for the year 2018, because this is my year. And then I went back over the months that have passed and saw that certain things were not accomplished because of procrastination or because of a bad relationship in me and how I view other things that have happened to me and things that people have done. And then I had to tell myself, it's time for you to move past this area. No matter what they've done, no matter what they've said, no matter how it has affected you, you have to move on. You have to breathe. You have to move on. You have to remove the bitterness. You have to remove the anger. You have to remove the strife out of your heart. And you have to move forward because what you're dealing with now, Kate, is a messy relationship that you're coming up with right now, whether it be friends, family, ministry. It's messy. And it's not messy as so much because it's all my fault that it's messy. Sometimes you're in messy relationships because of the way you view things and the way that others view you and then the things that they do. So then you find yourself having toxic behaviors in messy relationships with people who think they don't have messy tendencies, but they do. But what happens is if you don't deal with it, you'll begin to have a messy relationship with yourself. And so in this case study, I wanted to ask you guys a few questions. Now, I know I'm asking you the questions and you may not be able to answer them unless you're brave. Be brave. I like commentary. I like talking. I'm a teacher. I've told you guys that so many times. I am a teacher. I am a preacher. And so if you ask me a question, I will get you an answer, whether I know it or not. If I don't know it right now, I will research it and I will get back to you. So the first question I want to ask you guys is to name a few examples of Bible characters who give examples of good, healthy relationships. And then as you think about that, I want to ask you another question. Can you think of some bad examples of relationships from the Bible? And then why do you think that it is easier to find examples of bad relationships in the Bible than good ones? Now, when I was doing my research and putting this lesson together, these are the questions that I came up with after the lesson was done. You have to put something together and then go back and deal with it. So this is how we do it. Okay, so if you consider the 10 Commandments and you go to Exodus 20, that's what you're going to have to do. Then you can ask yourself, what relationships do the first 3 commandments address? What relationships do the last 7 commandments address? And what does this tell us about the importance of how we treat our relationships with each other? And we'll get into that on tomorrow. The 10 commandments will answer those 3 questions and we'll move forward. But today, what I want to talk to you about is to think about this. Okay, I want you to think about this. Relationships are complicated. And so you have to have a good relationship with yourself in order to accomplish your goals. How many of you agree? I know that I agree, and I understand that you must have a good relationship with yourself. But relationships are complicated, plain and simple. When Adam and Eve rebelled against God, they forever altered the harmonious state of our relationships and brought into our relationships pride, miscommunication, selfishness, resentment, and deception. As we read the Bible, that God's people were not immune from these painful effects of the fall in their relationships. Isn't that good, guys? I thought it was good. I thought it was good. So I'm going to say it. I thought that was good. I say, like my friend Pastor Monica, when you know what you know it, and you can teach it and you can put it out there. Don't teach what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm teaching to you to what I know. And because of Adam and Eve being in the garden, the first thing that happened that causes us to have toxic behaviors, toxic relationships, even within ourselves, is because we have pride, we have miscommunication, we have selfishness, we have resentment, and we have deception. So I know if you can think about it through your lives, you don't have to tell me. At one point in time, these were things that you dealt with and that you had to deal with because there was miscommunication. There was pride. Well, I'm not going to say nothing because if he don't say nothing and if she don't say nothing, I ain't going to say it. And one thing I'm not going to do is ain't nobody going to get over on me. That's that pride talking. Because if you want a good relationship, you're going to be willing to talk it out. You're going to be willing not to yell. You're going to be willing not to put yourself in a state where you're angry when the other person responds. You have to make sure that when you're trying to have a good relationship with someone else and as well as yourself, you're willing to listen to understand and not listen to respond. You have to hear them, no matter how you feel and no matter how they feel. Everybody's feelings are important. So when you're having a relationship with yourself, your feelings are important. But then there's a moment when you have to look in the mirror and you have to say to yourself, get up from this place and get what you need to get done because God is relying on you. Now, God doesn't need us to do anything because if he wanted to do what he wanted to do, he could do it. Just as he put the stars and the moon and the sun in the skies, as he put the fish in the sea, as he made the land for the earth, as he even created Adam from dirt and breathed life into him, he could do whatever he wanted without us. But his son came and his son died. And he died for us. And you think about that. Think about the relationship that you have with Jesus Christ. Someone that didn't even know you, but knew that you would become an individual, a person in time. And he got up on that cross and he died for us. He dealt with ridicule. He dealt with hatred. He dealt with malice. He was beaten all for us. And guess what we do? We have a toxic relationship with him. We don't appreciate what he's done. And I realized that I was having a toxic relationship with my Lord and Savior when I kept saying, well, God, why isn't this done? And God, well, why am I not further here? And God, well, why is this happening over there? But God, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I'm following your word and I'm talking to your people and I'm feeding them. I'm making extra lunches as I leave out the door sometimes. God, what's up? Like if somebody asks me for money on the street, I'm giving it to them, God, and I'm praying over it. And I'm talking to them about Jesus. I'm doing what you said. I'm out in the highways and the byways. I'm not being bound to four walls. What is it? What is the issue? And you know what he said? He said, I've given you a bigger assignment, a ministry without walls. When are you going to take flight? And so I realized that I was in a toxic relationship with my Lord and Savior. I was telling him that I loved him and I believed in him and I knew that he was the way and that everything that I'm going to do is going to be for him and I'm going to love him like I never loved him before. And then I started thinking about what I was saying to God and I thought about the natural relationships that I had, you know, the relationships here on this earth. I started thinking about those relationships and how they failed. And how in those relationships there was miscommunication, there was infidelity, there was things that, you know, just shouldn't have been. And so I thought about it and I said, why do we tell one another we love each other? Love is something that is required. 1 Corinthians 13, chapter 13, verses 4-8. And when you get to verse 8, you're going to stop at the first clause in there, the A clause before the semicolon. Love never fails. So if love never fails, why do relationships fail? Because if we love one another and we love ourselves, our relationships shouldn't fail. They should not fall apart, but yet they do. Our relationships fall apart, they fail, and we're asking ourselves over and over again, why? It's because we are messy. And you notice, guys, I'm saying we. I'm not saying people. I'm not saying you. I'm saying we. We are messy. And like I told you as we started, the things that cause our relationships to be toxic within ourselves and with others is because we have pride, miscommunication, selfishness, resentment, and deception. Don't try to go into any relationship, even with yourself, in a deceptive mode. Now, there are people out there who are through Christendom because you know everything I do is God-based that say fake it till you make it. God don't got time for fakes. If God said you are something, you are. You're it. If he said, I'm going to give you power to heal, you have that power. And what you should do is you should study, you should seek him, and you should get into your word and you should pray fervently that he helps increase that situation or that power in you. And it's not a situation, that power in you, so that when you go out and you step into your arena, you can do exactly what God has assigned you to do. But what do? We doubt him. Oh, God, not me. Oh, God, why are you choosing me? Oh, God, well, you know I did this, that, and the other. Are you sure you want me? God will have you sitting in a place and say, I need you to go talk to Minnie Mouse. Minnie Mouse is going through. I need you to encourage her. I need you to pray for her. And I need you to tell her that she can still go forward with the assignment that I've given her. Oh, God, no, I'm not ready. Oh, God, I can't do that. That's a messy relationship. That's a toxic relationship with the Creator. We have them all the time. He says, I have created you, Kaye, to teach and preach to the nations. You're going to go all over the world. But what happened? I started seeing it out loud. Things started happening. What did I expect? I was decreeing what God said over my life. So I had to understand that the enemy was going to come for me. And has he stopped coming? No, he has not. Have I failed some of the tests? Most definitely. Because toxic behaviors will have you fail. Because pride will say, oh, they're not going to get over on me, or that's not going to happen to me. And we'll be sitting there, we'll be shaking our head, and we'll be rolling our necks, and we're going to be talking about, oh, how you going to come for me? Don't. No, the devil don't got time for all that. He ain't worried about them memes. He ain't worrying about you. He's not worrying about you saying, oh, don't come for me and don't try. He's going to come for you because you have an assignment on your life. And God is greater than anything that you have going on in your life. Don't turn on him because he doesn't turn on you. I don't care what people do. I don't care what people say. I don't care how they scandalize your name. I don't care if you did it. Live out the truth. And while you're living out the truth, you can kill the lie. My God, I like that one. While you live out the truth, you can kill the lie. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. While you're living out the truth, you can kill the lie. Because if you tell your truth and you live in the truth, no matter what happens, just live it out. Let the truth out. It is what it is. Jesus lived his truth out. What are you saying, Kay? He had to go to the cross. He was the Messiah. That was the truth. It's not his fault they did not believe him. But what did he do? He lived it out. I'm getting excited. I feel much better than I felt a few moments ago because it's okay. It's okay to not be sure of yourself sometimes. But then you have to look in the mirror and you have to say to yourself, and guys, I'm on YouTube as well on my channel live, so I have to look at both cameras. But you have to say to yourself sometimes, you know what, and look in the mirror and be like, check this out. God said, this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. And then you have to get and start rejoicing. Happiness is a choice. Being toxic in a relationship with another and yourself is a choice. What? Yes, it is a choice. You choose to be in that toxic relationship. And so if you think about it, that messy relationship, let's talk about a relationship that was horrible, that was in the Bible. So I can prove to you guys that I did my study and I got my notes. And guys, as you know that I'm a teacher, so you know I had to do it. You know what I'm saying? So check this out. Let's talk about a toxic relationship. Anybody can name one besides me? Okay, we're going to go to it. And I'm going to show you how we can be in toxic relationships and not even realize it. Let's deal with God uses some of the most unlikely and unfortunate and unworthy characters in his stories. But guess what? Even though we may seem unworthy of the greatness that God is going to bestow upon us, he's going to use us just as we are, filthy, unclean, dirty. All you have to do is give your heart to him, and he will say, you know what, daughter? You know what, son? I'm going to make you a great nation. Remember, Abram was Abram before he was Abraham. Sarai was Sarai before she was Sarah. And so, guys, you know what? Just a sidebar. When y'all go in the Bible and y'all start naming y'all children after the people in the Bible, read up on the history of who you're naming your child. Read up what it is, because a lot of you have daughters named Sarai. And there was nothing wrong with her name being Sarai, but her name got changed to Sarah. You know, we want to have all these newfangled names, Taquisha, Taquana, whatever y'all want to be doing. But listen, remember, names have power. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall reap the fruit thereof. That was paraphrased. I missed the note in there. But check it out what I'm saying. Be careful in what you say and what you do, because it brings life and it brings death. Okay, so one of the case studies I want to give you that I did, and I'm going to call them case studies because as I'm dealing with the counseling side of what I do and learning and growing in school and things like that, and taking my courses and things online, because I take a lot of things to get certified. And I started reading up on, good morning, I started reading up on Samson and Delilah. And so if you go to read Judges chapter 16, verses 4 through 21, you'll find the story of Samson and Delilah. And on tomorrow, we'll break it all the way down. And then you'll be able to answer the questions. What were some of the ungodly characteristics that Samson and Delilah displayed? How did Delilah misuse her ability to influence her mate? What important asset did Samson cease to use in his relationship with Delilah? And for a hint on that answer, I want you to check out Proverbs 3 and 13 for the hint of what I'm talking about. And so If Samson and Delilah were friends of yours in a dating relationship, what advice might you give them? These are all the things. The first case study we're going to deal with tomorrow is Samson and Delilah and that particular messy relationship. Okay, guys? So just remember that because I wanted to give you that little tidbit so you would know it. And so, what I want you to understand is that God definitely loves you. He loves you to the place of um, unsurmountable passion in His way of loving us. And what we do is we understand things in part because that's how He gives them to us. God gives us things in part. He doesn't give us all things in full because if we were all knowing, we would lose our mind. Just think about your friend who you're on the job with. This is an example of how things can get toxic. While your friends on the job and it's all good, but then they get a promotion and then they have to do their job. But then they to go above and beyond with you because you are friends. When it's easier just to follow the book. You still can be my friend, but I have to follow the book. Your deadline is your deadline. You understand what I'm saying? So don't be messy within yourself. So let's go back to us because I gave you the little tidbits for tomorrow. So let's go back to us. So let me give you a little bit more about me as I go to finish up because it's 7:52. I've worked for over 20 years in the corporate sector and industry, and I have been exposed to a great number of toxins, from, leadership, co-workers, whatever, you know, and some of them that I haven't been exposed to burned me, literally, like burn my skin, like not burn, but they burn you, you know, and you begin to build up occupational toxins and you begin to hold things and not even realize it, you know. And so as these things are building in our hearts, we're not paying attention to it. And so we start to fall in areas that we shouldn't fall. Well, okay, what do you mean I shouldn't fall in that area? Because if you have a good relationship with yourself, you'll be able to move on. And let me give you some signs that you're in toxic relationships and sometimes even with yourself. Because let me tell you when you can realize that you're falling into a toxic relationship. If you've ever dealt with depression, depression is toxic. And don't say, well, Kay, you don't understand, you don't get it. Mm-mm. I understand more than you know. I've dealt with depression, and you guys know, hashtag couch time. I'm all about couch time. I'm all about the therapist. I'm all about the doctor that can talk to you in regards to what's going on in your mind so that you can clear foolishness out so that you can definitely hear God, so you don't find yourself in a toxic relationship with our Lord and Savior. And so these are some of the ways you can find out if you're in a toxic relationship. And these can go for with yourself, because sometimes we can cause ourselves the most stress, strain, and strife ever. And then it'll spill out into our other relationships with other people. And so when I thought about it and I was writing this down and I was going back through my notes, because guys, I teach this, but I've come to the conclusion that I can't stop teaching this because the toxins are building and growing in the toxicity that is out there. That's my word, guys. That's out there in the areas and in people and in our lives. It's big. It's growing because we will say, I'm going to get up and do A, B, and C, and then let the clock go off and hit the snooze button, and it don't get done. What is that about? So when you start feeling this, and if you've ever been in a toxic relationship, you're going to understand that these things are truths. So the one thing you'll do when you're dealing with something that's toxic, whether it be a job, a relationship, or even yourself, you're going to feel drained. The last 2 months, I have felt drained. Then I was putting myself under constant judgment. Then there's that negative energy. You're trying to be positive. Somebody says good morning. You say good morning, but in your mind, you're saying it ain't so good because I done went through A, B, C, and D. The kid's bus was late. I can't do this and I can't do that. All these bills are coming in. The landlord is acting crazy. I got to pay my mortgage. I asked them for an extension. They're trying to act like they can't give it. So all these negative thoughts start to come in. And then it seems like drama begins to rule your life. You're trying to live, and then drama is on every turn. Oh my God. Between 2016 to now, there has been so much drama. I just don't say anything. There has been so many things coming up against and at. And I'm like, God, what's up? Like I'm doing the assignment. For these 2 months, I might not be on camera, God, but I'm doing the assignment. I might not be on the radio because we're in hiatus to go back into the station, but I'm doing the assignment. I'm working for clients. They're unappreciative, but I'm doing it. What's up? Like, God, what's going on? Am I going down the wrong path? You said that I can have the desires of my heart. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, God? Why are you doing this to me? Up, first problem. God, why are you doing this to me? He ain't doing nothing to you because he said, above all else, he wished that you would what? Prosper. So if something is not happening in our lives, we have to sit down, regroup. And guess what? You just may need a mentor. Guess what? Mentors need mentors. Because if you're a mentor and you have mentees and you don't have nobody pouring back into you, you're a broken vessel. You're an empty vessel constantly giving out. And if you don't fill back up, you're going to be hollow and shallow. And what do people do with empty bottles? Now, don't get to those people that are artsy and be like, oh, well, you can do this and you can do that. No, no, no. 99% of the time, an empty bottle goes in the trash. There's no value. Don't become an empty vessel in your assignment because you're in a toxic relationship with yourself and with your Savior. We have to stop blaming God that we create. We have to stop treating one another as if we have no significance. We all have significance in this realm of heaven. Three heavens. We've been over it before. We can go back into it again. But you have to understand that. So I'm going to give you the ways and the signs of a toxic relationship. And guess what, guys? You have toxic tendencies. Don't think it's just everybody else. Don't think it's the people that you mad at. Don't think it's your kids because they're getting on your nerves. No. Let me say this to you about being a parent. One thing that I've learned. Our behaviors spill over into our children. So when they start acting up, sit back and think over your life. Then look at your child and say, oh my God, I did that such and when, or I was this and that. Because I often tell my children all the time, be careful how y'all treat me because you're going to have kids and it's going to come out like you. Then you're going to be wanting to put your foot down. Think about that. Okay, so I got to go because it's 7:59. I got 1 minute before I sign off. And I want you guys to join me tomorrow at 7:30. It's going to be awesome. And Friday because we're getting back into the swing of things. So I'll be here all 5 days. You'll get God's morning and you'll get Freedom Friday. So you'll feel drained if you're in a toxic relationship, even with yourself. There will be constant judgment. There is a negative energy. Drama rules your life. You feel trapped. Your self-worth is beaten down. You feel unhappy most of the time. You feel uncomfortable. You feel stagnant or stuck in a rut. There is a great deal of criticism and there is a constant sense of uncertainty. These are all things that combine messy, toxic relationships. And I want to show them to you in the Bible because I feel like sometimes if you show people in the Bible what happened, because the Bible is a true example and a guide for our lives, you'll be able to understand what's what and what's going on in your life. And then you'll be able to get a blueprint to work by and see how God solved it for them. And so the one relationship that stood out most prominently as toxic was the relationship I had with myself. Know that, guys. I'm learning it, and it came full circle and blew up in my face on yesterday. That's right, the relationship I had with myself. So many times I've been toxic, showing many of the same characteristics as other toxic individuals in toxic relationships that I've experienced. So guess what? It can be okay. You can recapture everything that God has for you and that will bring to you. And so I'm going to ask you to think about all the questions that are in the video. If you didn't get to see it from the beginning, please go back and see it. And know that I love you. I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30. Please go back, watch the video from the beginning, share it. It's going to bless you because the information is blessing me. I'm going to leave it here on my desk. And for my YouTube followers, I want to say good morning to you guys. I want to say this is a new adventure, and I hope to see more of you very, very soon. So just remember, I'm here. And so my name is Kaye Giles. This is God's Morning with Kaye Giles, the video devotional every morning for you right here live on Facebook. And now my YouTube channel that I've had forever and other videos that I have done in regards to toxic relationships. You can find them in my photos, in my videos. You can go in and you can see them. And also you can find them on YouTube. I'm still uploading them. I had no idea I had so many. But if you get up every day for a year. That's 365 videos. And then in the beginning, I was on two a day. So check it out, guys. Get the information. Say is I'm a teacher. I love to teach. I love to share. And I love to see others get healed as well as myself. So as we take this journey, we're going to remember, did my heart love till now? I can get over these toxic relationships and I can get over the toxic relationship with myself. And I can apologize to my Lord and Savior for the toxic relationship that I'm having for him, with him rather. So this is Kaye Giles with God's Morning and Courageous Faith. Remember, guys, Courageous Faith Radio, it's coming soon. Courageous Faith Radio will see you in June. But in August, I will be right with you on Sador Radio with the Courageous Faith Show. So I'll see you then on the second and the fourth Sundays. And guess what? It's going to have a new name. Courageous Faith is Real Talk. And so I'll have another host with me. And so it's going to be dynamic as I rock out those last 5 months at Sador Radio. And it's going to be wonderful. And Mark Sador, thank you for helping me push my dreams in January. We're going to get down to work and we're going to make it happen. So remember, I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30. This was Kaye Giles with the Morning Devotional. Remember, your life does not have to be toxic. Why? Because the toxicologist said so. And I'm in the office. So have a blessed day. Know that I love you. I'll see you guys soon. All right, YouTube. It was great to have you guys for the first time ever, but I have to go. So I'm going to end the stream. And so those of you who finally find me, I love you and I'll see you again soon. It was awesome being on two mediums at once. Yay, I'm done, Chanel.